It's been a pretty volatile year for the price of silver. We've seen it below $24, briefly above 30, but the last few weeks have been fairly sideways. So are we about to see this change and silver get a lot more interesting again? I know silver's always a popular market, so I thought we'd do an update on silver. If you take a look at the last, what is it now, last 11 months, silver's in a broad sideways range. There have been opportunities along the way to trade the swings to the extremes, but in terms of trend, it's definitely been sideways since August of last year. So I wonder, are we about to see that change? Are we going to have a much more interesting couple of months ahead than we've had over recent months? So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about what's been going on with silver, the forecast cut from Bank of America, the levels to watch, then we'll come back onto the platform and see if we can place a trade. We do have a couple of trades running at the moment. They're underwater so far from the 17th of June, buying at $26, slightly ahead, and the 6th of July, buying at $26.70. That's against me at the moment. So we'll see if we need to do anything with those trades and see if there's another opportunity in silver down at these levels. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought we'd do an update on silver this time round, see what's been going on over the last couple of weeks, where it might go in the weeks ahead. So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about what's been driving it, what to look out for, the levels to watch. Then we'll jump back onto the trading platform and take a look at things in a bit more detail and see if there is a trade to do in silver. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel and it means we can continue to push out lots of different content on the various markets that we look at during the week. Plus, of course, every Friday at 2:30 UK time, I now run a live stream for about an hour where we look at silver and a whole host of other markets as well. If you're subscribed to the channel with the alarm bell notification clicked, you get a message off YouTube just as we're about to go live. Right, let's get into it and take a look at silver in a bit more detail. So just to recap, it's been a volatile year for silver. We've seen it trade as low as $24, as high as $30 very briefly, but I have to say the last few weeks have been perhaps a little bit dull. And again, if we took a step back and looked at the last year, we're in a fairly big sideways range for silver. Plenty of people came into this year expecting a good year for silver as lockdown restrictions got loosened. The expectation was for a pickup in economic demand. Silver has lots of applications out in industry, and the hope was that increased demand would help lift the price of silver. But it hasn't been the case for the last few months at least. It got hit hard in June, pretty volatile month in June. It slid from as high as about $28.50 down below $26. It has stabilized since then, but like I said, the range has been fairly tight over recent weeks. In the last few days, Bank of America, the large US investment bank, has cut its average price for silver in 2021 only by about 4%, but it sees the average price of around $27.70 an ounce for silver. So it's revised it downwards there. It still says it prefers silver to gold for the rest of this year because of the increased demand for silver in things like solar panels and electrical applications. There's, of course, always the spectre of inflation that markets have been worried about in recent months. If we did see higher inflation as the year went on, in theory, this should help silver. This could help lift the price with silver being seen as something of a hedge against inflation, but no real excitement from that point of view in the last few weeks. Let's look at the levels to watch. Then let's go back onto the platform, look at the charts and see what the technicals say for silver. So it is trapped in a fairly tight range. We've got immediate resistance around $26.75 from the last few weeks. We've had a pretty major low recently at $25.50. That's the range for silver. To put some color on these numbers, look at other levels and see if there's a trade to do. Let's jump on the charts. I've taken to referring to silver as a boring market this year, which I think does annoy some people, but you can't deny what's in front of us here. We've got this real, just massive sideways range in silver. Since we had those highs in the summer of last year into August, that great run up we had, and also for gold, of course, in the summer of last year. And since then, we've seen just big swings, but still fairly sideways. On the downside, clearly, big support running from just below 22. Whenever we've seen silver knock down near 22 towards the end of last year, we saw the buyers step back in. This year, that level has been 24. On the upside, we saw that brief run, I think Wall Street Bets inspired run in early Feb, very briefly above $30, $30.04 on my chart. And since then, we've had not very much at all in terms of excitement. If we zoom things into perhaps the last few months, this is where we are in silver. I think if we took a look at the RSI, arguably, we've got a buy signal off the RSI. The market, price of silver moved to a low in June, third week of June, pushed slightly lower at the end of June, but we had the RSI trending up. So we had what's known as bullish divergence on the RSI, where the market pushes to fresh lows for the move, but the RSI is making higher lows. It can be a suggestion that perhaps sentiment is changing, and we're going to see that the selling run out of power and the market stage something of a recovery. I think we've got a slight recovery going on at the moment. I mean, for me, if I was a buyer now, I think on the existing trades, I'd want my stop the other side of that low from late June, around $25.50. So I think if we can build a bit more momentum from here, let's take a look on the hourly chart. So looking on the hourly chart, I think if we can build some momentum back above this 2660, 2680 area, then we can start to think about targeting those highs from the middle of June, just ahead of $28 an ounce. So broadly speaking, I think it is positive. We've got good support at $25.50 for silver. As I say, that's where my stop would go at the moment. But we do need to just break out of this range that we're stuck in. We did get a breakout here. So far, it has turned out to be a false breakout, that move in the first week of July. And I think if we can break out of this range, then we can start targeting $28 plus. But what about the other way around? $25.50 has been good support. I think if we break below there, we perhaps see more people throw in the towel, more sellers come back in, and we start looking at a move back towards that end of March low around $24, which again looks interesting because it has been such good support this year. So nothing to change my mind at the moment that silver is not the most exciting market in the world. I think it is mildly bullish at the moment. We've got this bullish divergence on the RSI. It needs to break out of this range, and then perhaps things get a bit more exciting, looking to target at least $28 on the upside. Let's see how the next few weeks works out. That's it for the update in silver. Still a boring market as far as I'm concerned. We'll see if things change in the weeks ahead. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.